YouTube! What it do, baby? It's your boy. I got something for you today. I ain't gonna waste too much time. Watch this.
Dr. Turek, God commanded you to murder your wife or children to prove your faith in God. Is your current devotion not enough to prove your faith? Must you murder your children as Abraham was instructed?
First of all, I don't know what I would do.
This is a simple yes or no question, Doc.
I don't know what I would do in Abraham's position.
Okay, so this first clip, we have Dr. Turek. We have Dr. Turek, who is a Christian apologist, and he's having a seminar or a Q&A or whatever. And so we got an atheist named Cody who walks up to the mic and asks him, if put in the same position as Abraham, would you murder your children to prove your faith to God? Now, Dr. Turek says he doesn't know, but I don't accept that because one, you believe a God exists. Two, you believe this God wants you to do things for it. You're going to do whatever this God asks you to do. You're going to follow this God. You're going to follow this religion. You're going to worship this God. You're going to prove whatever you got to prove to this God. Are you not? Okay, so these Christians say that God talks to them. These Christians say that they say that they pray and God answers their prayers. They say that he talks to them. They can hear his voice. So, as a Christian apologist, you gonna know when God is talking to you. So if God asks you, hey, I need you to wake up, get your knife, and murder your kids and your wife, are you gonna do it or not? This your God, right? This the God, the God that you worship is gonna test you by asking you to murder your children. That's what he did to Abraham. So what makes you think he won't do it to you? You saying you don't know. You don't really follow God then. You gonna know the difference. If you're a Christian, you gonna know the difference between voices in your head and God, allegedly, since they hear God. You gonna know when God talking to you. So if God asks you to do this, how can you say you don't know? Are you a devout follower or not? Are you a real Christian or not, as they say? Are you gonna do what your God asks you to do? You said you don't know. How? You know what you gonna do if God asks you. You don't believe in him. You don't have enough faith, do it, huh? Do you not have enough faith? This man said he doesn't know if he would murder his kids if God asked him to. That is crap. You know what you're going to do if your God... What? So you said to me you don't know if you're going to do what God asked you to do? That's crazy. These are the same people that's telling us God has a plan for us. We got to listen to God. We got to follow his word. Yet, when push comes to shove, if God come directly to them and ask them to do something like this, they say they don't know. And this is the... Come on, man.
That's a good question. You know who really struggled with that? Soren Kierkegaard, who wrote a book called...
Is your faith strong enough to murder your own children
Cody,
or wife?
Now, this was another great question by Cody. He asked Dr. Turek, is your faith strong enough to murder your kids and your wife? Yes or no? If you're going to do it, then you're a true follower of God. If you're not going to do it, you don't really believe, you don't really practice what you're preaching. You don't really believe in this God. Because in the Bible, this is something that God asks someone to do. That means that this is something that he would ask you to do if he talks to you. So this is blunt yes or no. This is black or white. Do you follow your God or not? Do you have enough faith in your God or not? Would you murder your children and your wife for your God? Huh? I don't think anyone would do this. Would anyone murder their kids or their wife for their God? Or their kids or their husband for their God? Would anyone do this? Do y'all think anyone would do this? No, they fucking wouldn't. But they would have to because God enjoys this type of shit. This is the type of thing that God asks you. This is the type of thing that God would test you with. So you can't say God would never do that. You can't say God would never ask me to do that. You can't say you can't say that'll be the devil. You can't say that'll be that'll be your God. Your God has done it before and he will do it again. So You can't say that God wouldn't ask you to do that. You can't say God wouldn't test you like that. Yes, the fuck he would. I think he would. His Bible says he would. Huh? So would you do it or not? This is a great question by Cody. Great question. Do you have enough faith to murder your kids and your wife, Mr. Man, Mr. Dr. Turek? Huh? Is your faith in Big Jesus that powerful? Do you believe in Yahweh that much? Huh?
And since I'm from New Jersey, it's really hard for me to do. So give me a minute. The book is called Fear and Trembling by Soren Kierkegaard. So I don't know what I would do, just like I'm never going to say if somebody put a gun to my head or a gun to my wife's head, what would you do?
No. No. That is a horrible analogy. Do not compare someone pointing a gun to your head to a voice that's allegedly God talking to you. How can you compare a human with a gun to a God that's talking to you? You're God. That's not, no. Don't compare your God to the humans. No. No. A human with a gun to your head is different. As a Christian, if a human puts a gun to your head and says, hey, murder your family, I'm going to kill all of y'all. As a Christian, of course you want to say, man, look, you're going to have to kill all of us because I ain't killing my family. That's respectable. That's understandable. That's perfectly fine. But if your God tell you to do it, you telling me you're not going to do it? Remember now, you got to do what God say do. You got to follow his word. Through Christ, you are saved, motherfucker. So if you don't listen to, now, hold up now. Let me give him this work. Let me sit up. You finna get this fucking work. Hold up. God is the Holy Ghost, the Father, and the motherfucking Son. So that means if now through Jesus Christ, you are saved. But Jesus Christ is God too. So if God tell you to do something, that's the same thing as Jesus Christ telling you to do something. So if you don't do what Jesus Christ tell you to do, you ain't going to heaven, motherfucker. So if your God say, hey, murder your motherfucking kids and your wife, or else you gonna burn with me. You gonna come down there with me. You gonna fry with me, baby. You're gonna fry with me if you don't do what God asks you to do. So if God asks you to murder your family, you have no choice but to do it, Mr. Christian man. If a human point a gun to your head, well, kill us, motherfucker. We going to heaven anyway. Cause by Jesus' blood, we're saved. I'm covered in the blood. I'm a real believer. I'm going to heaven. Now, what if the motherfucker in heaven tell you to do it? Huh? You don't know the end? This is dishonesty. He's lying. Either he's gonna do it and he don't want to say he'll do it, or he won't do it and he don't want to look like a fraud. Let me repeat it for the motherfuckers in the back. Either this man will murder his family in the name of his God, or he won't murder them at all. But remember, if God tell you to do something, you don't do it. You don't have enough faith. You're not a real follower. You gotta watch them. Watch them. They don't really believe this shit, man. They know this crap. They know this stuff is crap, man. And they know this shit is crap. They know this shit is crap. They know this shit is crap. They know it. Look how he talking. He don't know if he'll. Come on, man. BAR, he don't know if he will murder his family or not in the name of his God, but he gonna profess this shit is true. He gonna say this is what we all supposed to do. Yet you wouldn't even follow this shit yourself. You don't even know. Come on. I'm talking to him.
Because Peter tried that. I'll never deny you, Lord. And what did he do?
He denied him 3 times. Yes, at the crucifixion.
I don't know what I would do, okay? But let me point out, if your friend is an atheist, there's nothing wrong with God doing anything, because by atheism, there's no standard of right and wrong anyway.
Atheism is not a fucking belief. Atheism can't explain anything. Atheism doesn't talk about anything else. It doesn't talk about morality. It don't talk about who you can sleep with. It don't talk about what you got to do in that. It doesn't talk about any of that. Why do they keep referring to atheism as, if atheism is true, then what are they talking about? What are they saying? Atheism is not a belief. Atheism is not a religion. I am not convinced a God exists. That makes me an atheist. That's it. Do you believe in God or not? No. Then you're an atheist. Atheism explains nothing about the universe. Atheism explains nothing about morality. Atheism explains nothing. That's why I always say I don't know shit. Atheism is not. Listen to this man. He's saying if atheism is true, how can we say what God is doing is wrong? How can we say God murdering people is wrong? Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? That is not what atheism is.
So in order for you to bring up the objection, you're actually stealing a standard from God in order to try and say God doesn't exist.
So basically what he's saying is, what atheists do, he's saying our morality comes from God. And we're using our morality that comes from God to disprove God. That's not what the fuck we're doing. We are not convinced the standard comes from God. We're not convinced of that. You can't even prove morality comes from God. Can you prove morality comes from God? Can you prove that? What can you say? Well, the Bible says no. That's an incorrect answer. Well, they say in order for morality to be objective, there must be an objective moral lawgiver. There must be someone that exists outside of us to give us our moral objective laws. Okay, prove that's a God, motherfucker. Prove it's your God that's the moral objective lawgiver. In addition, church, say amen. In addition, church, if these so-called objective moral laws come from God, what happens when he breaks them? What happens when God goes against moral laws that are objective and he does something that is objectively immoral? What happens when God does something that is objectively immoral? If God says it is objectively immoral to kill people, what happens when he kills people? That means even though he's God, he's still immoral because those rules are objective and they apply to every fucking one, every fucking thing. If your God says that it's immoral to own other people as property, knock, knock, who's there? God with slavery, motherfucker. If your God says it's objectively because okay, we can't say we got, if you're going to say we have objective moral laws and standards that come from God, what happens when he breaks these standards that are objective? That means they apply to him too, motherfucker. Is he not immoral for breaking rules that are objective? Is your God not immoral for doing things that he says are objectively immoral? Am I making sense? Is it sticking? Am I talking to him? Huh? And again, let me repeat this. We're not using God's morality to disprove God. That's not what we're doing. We're saying there is no evidence of your God. There is no proof of your God. But since we're talking about your God, let's talk in context as what if it does exist. If it does exist, everything it did is X, Y, and Z is wrong. That's how we saying it. That's how we approaching it. That's how we talking. We don't think a God exists. We're saying if it does exist, it let slavery happen. If it does exist, it let X, Y, and Z happen. If it does exist, it commanded genocide, injustice, all kinds of bullshit. And if a God does exist, there is a chance your God will ask you to murder your kids and your wife to prove your faith to it. That is something God would ask you to do. So you got to take it in the proper context, motherfucker, as y'all say. Make sure you got the context correct. I don't believe our morality comes from God. If you ask me personally, I'm going to say, I don't know where my morality comes from as of right now, but I'm doing research every day and I'm trying to look at all the answers. I'm looking at all the available evidence to figure out where the fuck this come from so I can have an answer, so I can explain this shit. I don't know where morality comes from for me. Maybe there are other atheists that do. I'm not one of those, motherfucker. I don't know shit. I don't know where my morality comes from yet. I'm looking it up. Every fucking day, y'all. I'm looking this shit up every day. Even if our morality does come from God, that does not make what he's doing correct. That don't make what he's doing okay. You can't say, well, since he make all the rules, him breaking all the fucking rules is okay. But when we do it, it's wrong. Fuck your God and his morality. He can suck a dick. I don't give a fuck where morality comes from. What he's doing is wrong. What your God commands is wrong, period. Regardless if morality comes from him or not. I don't give a fuck where it comes from. What he commands in his book is wrong. What he asks you to do is wrong. what he would ask you to do is wrong. Are you seriously gonna sit here and not look me in my face? Are you seriously gonna tell me that if God asks you to murder your kids and your wife, it's okay because he's God? Are you kidding me? Is that what you're saying? Mr. Turek, you a doctor. Dr. Turek. You need to figure some shit out. Are you seriously gonna tell me that if God asks you to do that, it's okay because it's from God and he makes all the rules? That's ridiculous. That's crap. So if God makes all the rules and we gonna follow those rules because they come from God and we should listen to God, how you gonna say you don't know if you will do it or not when you think our morality comes from him? The fact that you said you don't know if you would do something that God asks you to do when morality comes from God, allegedly, that means you don't really believe morality comes from God. You just saying that shit because that's what you gotta believe. You're forced to believe that if you're gonna be a Christian. You're scared of hell, so you gotta play along just so you can get to heaven. Motherfucker, I know what you're doing.
Dr. Turek, I'm only asking if you would murder your wife or children to prove your devotion. It's a simple question.
I don't know what would happen. And by the way, when God decides that someone should die, it's not murder for him. Because God kills all of us at some point, and he's the only one that can resurrect us. So we don't have the right to murder people, but God has the right to kill people anytime he wants.
Look, man, this is ridiculous. Cody is asking this man a simple yes or no question. Would you murder your wife and your kids to prove your faith to God? That is a yes or no question. When I say mental gymnastics, when I say they got to get that gold medal in their head, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This man is dishonest. This man is doing mental gymnastics, and he just dodging the question that Cody asked him. Also, I want to make sure y'all caught what he said. Basically, what he said is God picks when we die. God can kill all of us, and when God murders people, it's not murder because he's God. That's basically what he's saying. Now, I want to make sure y'all remember now, in Sunday school and at church, what did they say? They say the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Yet when he talks, he says God picks who dies and when we die and how we die. Right? So who comes to kill, steal, and destroy? The one that controls everything or the enemy? The one who controls everything. God kills. God steals you from your family and from the earth by killing you. And God destroys you when he kills you. So who really comes to kill, steal, and destroy? God picks how you, now listen, let this sink in, y'all. God picks when you die and how you die. Do you know what I think about when I think of that? I think of the Holocaust. God sat back and said, I want all of these Jews to die this way. Think of slavery. God said, I want all of these. Now, God picks when we die and how we die and who dies at what time, at what place, right? Right? That means everybody that died from the Holocaust, that's exactly how God wanted them to die. Everybody that died from slavery, that's exactly how he wanted them to die. How can I worship this God? How can I praise this God? God picks who dies and when and how. My ancestors were hanging from fucking trees. I cannot worship this God at all, period. He gets spit in his face when I see him. On Judgment Day, I'm bringing a shit bag with me. I'm going to shake it up and I'm going to pour it on him if I can. I can't worship this God. This man is explaining it to y'all. God picks who dies, when we die, how we die. I can't after that. How can you after that? How can you ever go back to religion after that? Just let it sink in.
He can strike me down today, tomorrow, anytime he wants, and it's completely in his prerogative.
God has the right to slaughter the Amalekites down to the last man, woman, and child.
God has the right to take us out anytime we want, because if Christianity's true, men don't really die, we just change location.
Listen to this man's responses. Listen to what he's saying. Do y'all hear him? Is it me? Am I tripping? Is BAR tripping? Listen to this man. Is it okay for God to slaughter all of those people? The men, the women, and the little children. I think he was referring to the Amalekites or whatever. Is that okay? For God to slaughter kids that had nothing to do with his problem? The people that he had a problem with? And he's saying it's okay for God to do that. Because he's God. God can do whatever he wants. This man would be perfectly fine with God coming down right now and slaughtering all of the kids that live in America that's under 8. All of the little babies. He would be okay with that because God, like he said, God can do what he wants. He would be perfectly fine with that. Is that where I'm supposed to get my morals from? Is that who I'm supposed to believe in, this God? You see when I say religion causes harm, look at his brain. Look at his mental. He would be okay. Well, he would have to be okay with it. It really wouldn't be he would have to be okay with this because he followed this God. But this man is basically saying he would be okay if God came down and slaughtered all of the kids in America that had nothing to do with nothing. I'm going to kill all the little babies. Only the little children that's under 8. I'm going to slaughter them all because I'm God. Are you kidding me? Is that what you're saying? You saying that'd be okay? You wouldn't have a problem with that? He's God. Men don't die. We just change locations. Shut the fuck up. If I could slap this man, I would slap this man. I would really put my hands on this man. We don't die. We change. Look, prove it. Prove we change locations, motherfucker. Prove it. Show me heaven and hell, and I will be quiet about this part. Show me we change locations. Where do we go? Can you prove that? Is the Bible says so? Incorrect answer again. So prove we change. Prove we don't die. We just change locations. This man is ridiculous. This shit is dishonest. I can't even believe, man. I can't even believe this. I can't. God is God. He can do whatever he want to do here. That's whatever. This is God. Slaughter them little kids. It don't matter. You're God. You can do what you want to do. You created everything. You can destroy everything.
And God can do that anytime he wants. So thank you for your question.
It is stunning to me that massacre and genocide gets applaud in this building.
They fucking clapping. These people are clapping. Cody just talked to this man about God commanding genocide. Dr. Turek said God can do what he wants, and they start clapping. They're applauding God killing maybe thousands of innocent people. They're clapping. He talks about God commanding genocide, and they clap. He talks about God murdering kids, children, and men because he's God. He can do whatever he want to do, and they fucking clapping. They clapping. Round of a fucking up. They clapping, y'all. They clapping. They're clapping. They're clapping. They're clapping about this shit, y'all. Religion causes harm. These people's brains are gone. They're clapping. God slaughtering little kids. They clap. They fucking clap.
God
Cody,
demands slaughter, massacre, and genocide.
All right, Cody, there's nothing wrong with genocide if atheism's true.
What the fuck? What the fuck is this man talking about? What is he? I'm about to lose my fucking mind reacting. If atheism is true, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Fuck it. Come on, BA, y'all. Get your shit together. I'm sorry, y'all. This is what I look like off camera watching it. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? If atheism is true, there's nothing wrong with genocide. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Atheism is not a fucking... We're not talking about atheism, motherfucker. We're talking about Christianity. Is genocide still wrong? Huh? Or is it only wrong when Hitler and Stalin and Pol Pot do it, motherfucker? But when your God do it, well, he's God. He controls everything. He can do what he want to do. Yes. And then how the fuck how can these Christians talk bad about what Hitler did and what Stalin did and what Pol Pot did and what Kim Jong and all these terrorists and whatever the fuck and all these genocides and all these massacres and shit? How can they talk bad about this shit when God controls everything and God set that up and that is exactly what God wanted to happen? How can you be against something that your God set up? How can you be against something that your God put in action? How can you be against something that your God controls? God controls everything. That means all of the motherfucking massacres, all of the genocide, all of the rape, all of the slavery, all of the injustice come from your motherfucking God. It don't come from us. We don't control shit if God is real, motherfucker. These motherfuckers constantly talking about if atheism is true. If atheism is true, atheism ain't no fucking belief. Atheism can't be true. Atheism is a rejection. Atheism is saying I'm not convinced that God exists. Atheism is not about shit else. Stop. Ugh. These motherfucking Christians, man. Yahweh, please help them. Please help your motherfucking people. They slow. They don't get it. Can you break it down for them since you the all-powerful, all-knowing, omniscient, omnipresent, omniverse, omnitrix? Can you help these motherfuckers? They acting like they can't understand when I say atheism is not a belief. Atheism can't be true. Atheism ain't no motherfucking religion. Atheism is a rejection of a claim. Get that on the fucking head. Get it in your fucking head.
Are you serious?
If atheism's true, there is nothing wrong with genocide.
I am an atheist and I oppose genocide in every every way.
But that's just your personal opinion because there's no standard beyond you which says it's wrong.
The standard that says is correct, that I will help my fellow human up to and including you, especially you, doctor, that I would never harm anyone in this room.
Okay, I'm glad.
Atheism, are you suggesting that atheism allows or purports or wants genocide? I know you wouldn't say, you would never say that.
Yes, atheism does allow it. You can ask Mao, you can ask Stalin, you can ask Pol Pot, because if there is no authority beyond the government, they are God.
I could not possibly agree. I could not possibly disagree that those people were atheists. But as Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens would both argue, as you well know, none of those people slaughtered millions in the name of atheism. There are countless millions.
All right, Cody, this isn't a debate, okay?
I know.
I thank you for being
Doc.
here. But let me deal, because Cody, I love talking about this stuff, but there's a line of people behind you, and so we can't keep going back and forth. But I do want to answer your question about the Canaanites.
Is God immoral for massacre, slaughter, and racism and slavery?
Cody, look, we don't have time to deal with all those. Trust me, I have slides for every one of them, okay? Let me just deal with the Canaanite one, if you'd be so gracious as to sit down.
I would be so gracious. Thank you, doctor.
And I'll deal with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, doctor.
All right.
Now look, this video was not the video for today. I was supposed to be reading this lame ass shit right here. This bullshit Bible. I was supposed to be reading that. But I was watching this video. I said, I'd be damned if I don't talk about this crap. This video disgusted me from beginning to end. This video hurt my heart, man. From him not answering the questions and being dishonest to the crowd clapping when the man talks about God commanding genocide. And from this man just dodging everything. He didn't even answer the question. He said, I don't know. Like Cody said, God endorses and commands genocide, rape, slavery, racism, injustice, any massacre, whatever you want to say. God commands all of that shit because God is in control of all of that shit. And God, oh my God. These people think God is helping them and God has a plan for their life while simultaneously believing God has nothing to do with none of this other shit going on. You selfish, you arrogant, you close-minded, ignorant motherfucker. You a piece of shit if you... Fuck it, that's the video.